Hi everybody, this is City Scrapper. I'm so glad you could join me today for day 7 of Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches, Series 8, and Scraptember 2021. You could see the sketch up in the upper left-hand corner. That is a sketch that was created by Scrapbook Challenges, and the Scraptember prompt for today is multi-photo. And I just love the way the Scraptember prompts are paired so nicely with the sketches. I didn't have to think too much to make this a multi-photo layout because the sketch calls for 5 photos. I'm using 4 photos because my photos are bigger, although I have a Canon selfie and I use that occasionally to print out a photo, usually in a smaller format. I have my photos printed for me, and I always get them printed in 4 inches by 6 inches. And so sometimes I can trim those down a lot, and other times I don't want to cut out what's in the background. So for these particular photos, I cut them down to about 4 inches by 4 inches, and any smaller than that, and I would have cut things off that I did not want to cut off. So I feel that that is a good size, and it still lends itself well to the sketch. For this layout, I'm using 2 collections made by Pinkfresh Studio, Holiday Vibes and Home for the Holidays, and I thought that they went really well together. I looked through all the papers and found this really pretty paper that has a white background but has the Christmas lights on it. I thought that would be a great way to start off the layout. And then there was already a piece of pattern paper in my envelope that was cut down to the size that you see there, that large red chevron strip. And I used a border punch and I cut out a nice snowflake border for both sides of the red strip. In the end, you really don't see that at all. I end up covering it all up. And that happens sometimes. There were some frames that were in the collection, so I picked out this blue one and I added that banner that says Christmas, and I decided to call it Our Christmas Decor. I love to take photos of all of our Christmas decorations. I don't do it every year, but every few years, because there are some things that stay the same and there are some things that change. And I feel like when my daughters are older, that's something that they're going to remember, or these photos will help them to remember. And it's just something that I think is special and part of your childhood that I wanted to document. I cut down the background paper a little bit and I mounted it on some dark blue paper. And then I was thinking that I wanted to mount each of the photos on some paper as well, and that would help them stand out from the background. I mount each of the 4 photos on a different piece of paper. The light blue paper is a Pinkfresh Studio pattern paper. The dark blue paper was gutted from the piece that I used to create a border in the background. And then the pink and the green were just scraps that I had in my scrap collection. A while back, I saw another scrapbooker did this, and I organized all of my pattern paper and cardstock scraps by color, and that has been incredibly useful for me, and it's so much easier to find scraps to use on layouts when they're organized by color. And the papers are organized in plastic envelopes. They are dry erase pockets. They're meant for students, and they're color coded, so that helps me find the color I'm looking for extremely quickly. So that's just something that's worked out for me. So to give the photos a little bit of dimension, I'm using some fun foam and I'm popping up all 4 of the photos. I just like the way adding a little bit of dimension to the photos makes them stand out a little bit more. I'm also going to be popping up the frame that has my title in it. And I don't have to pop up the whole thing because one side is resting on the photo of the snowman, so I only have to put it on half of that frame. However, I have to double it up, otherwise it will not sit on top of it. I use ATG adhesive to attach the foam down to the page. This helps me in case I want to make minor adjustments, which I'm always doing. I'm forever slightly rearranging things, and I used to try to resist that, but I've come to accept that's just how I am. I like to try things out and see how they look, and it's better for me if they're not permanent, at least right away. In my mind, those little adjustments make a big difference sometimes, so I'd like to have that option. But if you use something different to attach your adhesive foam down to your layout, I'd like to know what adhesive you use, if you don't mind letting me know in the comments. To break up that large red chevron strip of pattern paper, I'm adding a smaller strip of blue pattern paper. That's from the collection, and behind it I've put a small border of pink paper. In the lower right-hand corner, I'm adding another frame. This one is red and it has the same gold that's in the blue frame. So I thought this would be a good addition to the bottom right-hand corner, and I could put some embellishments in it. So I backed it with that same blue pattern paper that I used on the blue frame. And now I'm doing the same thing. I'm putting some foam on the back, not over the whole thing, but doubling it up where I do put it so that it'll sit nicely on top of my photo. I put a little holly leaf in 2 of the corners of the frames, one on the top frame, one on the bottom frame. That green banner says Family Traditions, so I thought that went well with the layout. I found the puffy sticker that had some stockings on it, which I thought was perfect because I have a photo of our stockings. There was a cup that was filled with candy canes. I put that on the top blue frame, and then I put some very, very small light blue enamel dots on either side of that banner that says Christmas. In the center, I'm adding in a chipboard piece that says Filled with Christmas Spirit, which I again thought was a good addition to the page. But the chipboard piece looked a little lonely to me, so I pulled out these squares, which I just rotated a little bit, from the chipboard sheet as well. They're snowflakes. And I placed the 2 gray ones closest to that phrase chipboard, and then the blue ones further out. And then I added some gold enamel dots, the smallest size that was on the enamel dots pack. And now I'm adding some photo corners. Since I already used 4 different colors of paper to mat the photos, I didn't want to mix up the colors anymore, so I put pink photo corners on the pink backed photo, and same thing with all the other colors. And there I'm using an EK Success photo corner punch. And there's something about the photo corners that just makes the layout look a little more finished to me. I'm not putting the photo corners in all 4 corners. I'm just putting them in 2 opposite corners. And you could see the way I alternated which corners that I put them in on all the photos. Once I had all of the photo corners attached down, I felt that they looked a little bare. And so I wanted to add some enamel dots to each of the photo corners. I'm going to be using the very smallest dots, and I'm using a color that contrasts with the photo corner color, and that way you can see them. And I just love the way the pink looked against the dark blue. I thought that was a pretty combination. In the ephemera pack, there were so many cute images, but this house really stood out to me because I thought that went really well with my photos. So I pulled out this house and then 2 Christmas trees for either side. I added the last touch of enamel dots, and that completes this layout. Here are the close-ups. Thank you very much for watching this video, everybody. And I wanted to say that I am going to answer each and every comment, and I appreciate each and every comment. Thank you so much. Please take a look in the description box. You'll find links to all of the other scrapbookers following along. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.